sorry about that first one. It took me a couple of days to get my head together here. This is that creation thing, part two. I get a little dramatic when I try to describe these things. And out of the 4 comments I got on, I had one person that really didn't understand what I was talking about. So I'm going to try a little better this time, but I'm also going to finish it up. It's not going to take long, but it's important to get this. I'm just trying to describe the pathways. You got this going here, that going there. The moon is frequently considered the most negative card in the deck because it can go either way. But this is basically the concept of creation that we deal with. This is the lower triangle of the tree of life. The lower triangle of the Hermetic Kabbalah tree of life. The basic point I'm trying to make is Malkuth here comes in first. That's your possession. That's when a new thing is created. You could say if you were building a table when you were first cutting the pieces out of wood, it would be the Malkuth pot. But it's a lot easier to use pregnancy as the thing. So Malkuth is sort of when the egg and the sperm get together. But the second aspect that comes in, power center-wise, chakra-wise if you prefer, is the yellow one. And that's the power aspect. And the two of them together, if you could picture, if we had 2 flashlights here, if I had a flashlight with a yellow lens and a flashlight with a red lens, if I put the red lens there and then I put the yellow lens up higher up here, as I brought them together, they would create the orange. See, nothing happens until the yellow, the power is there, the power to create desire. Desire cannot happen without the power. And the power, this is where Hermetics differs greatly, or the Western occultism differs greatly from the Eastern. It requires a separation there, that war-peace concept, that male-female concept, that active-passive concept. It requires that. That's why we have the star or whatnot here. It requires this. This is what allows the individual hardcore material aspect to actually create the desire. And once that desire is created, that's where you start getting the rise up towards Tippereth and stuff. But you have to have, this was the entire precept of trying to deal with the creation aspect, is an understanding that first, the ground, the Malkuth, the third comes before the second. The first and the third together, the red and the yellow together, create the orange, or guess it, create the concept of desire, so that it actually, you might say it's the desire for consciousness, or the desire for birth, the desire to achieve all the other intelligences so it can manifest. And if you use it as a concept of birth, that is where Tippereth, which is up there, that's the green one, everybody knows that, if you want to call it the 4th chakra, fourth power center. And that's actually the supposed manifestation of birth. The child is born in balance. It's things that happen after birth, as Yesod and the various other intelligence start affecting the child. That's what allows the development. But it's really important in dealing with, when you get into the higher aspects of the tree, when you get into the other 2 triangles on the tree, it's really important to understand this. This is your hard base. Now, you can do the pathways where, all these pathways have to be done almost with every card in order, by the time you really get into your development, by the time you're really pushing on your vision and telepathy. But it's very important to understand that concept of creation. The biggest problem people have is going Malkuth, Yesod, and then up to Had Necha. You go from Malkuth, you go from the red, then the yellow is next, the split is next. That's what creates desire. That is the point we're trying to get across. That is what is important to understand. And as I continue going up the tree on other lessons and we start breaking in how to develop auric or telepathic parts, the telepathic parts wouldn't happen to the top tree, by the way. But as we break into the second triangle, you see, Geber and Gedula and Tippereth, as we break into that, that is where you start really working on your balance. That's where you really, start pushing on this. You start playing with concepts like mercy and balance and stuff. That's where we're really going to be pushing on it. But it's important to recognize that the orange, that desire comes from the first and the third. So this is actually first, second aspects of creation, and then this is the third aspect. That is what allows the lead into the second triangle. Augusta has a question, so I'm going to let her ask it. Go ahead, honey.
So this lower triangle applies to the physical body?
We're talking about creation. Okay, so now if you want, once we get into more esoteric things, you could actually turn around and deal with it. You'd have to change your pathways completely. All of a sudden, we'd instead of having the higher numbers here, we'd have the lowers. We'd have the lower numbers. In other words, we'd be dealing with Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth. Do you see what I'm saying?
For my spiritual development?
No. If we were talking about the creation of the universe.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or the creation of the concept of God itself. You see, we frequently use, in fact, this is not a bad thing to throw in here. I have to watch the time on the video.
7:30.
See, I'm already at 7 minutes. That means
Start another one?
I'm going to have to stop pretty soon or it's not going to fit on the tape. When we do the tapes that we make public that we can put on YouTube, I can make them as long as I want. But the program for the blog itself will only handle 100 megabytes. So if I go over, this will have to get split into A and B. But Aggie does that on her computer. We frequently say, when we deal with the concept of God, see, so where you talk, that's the first creation, would be this God concept, because, so God is everything, which means conversely that it'd be nothing to be everything, be nothing, there'd be nothing to compare it about. You see? But that concept splits when God suddenly says, I am. And as soon as it says I am, it says, oh, that means there's going to be something else. And that is what creates desire and the desire for manifestation to go on. Go ahead, Ag.
So when the world was formed,
I'm not saying that. When opposition was formed.
Which resulted in the creation of all this physical
Correct.
stuff. That's the tree where Malkuth starts with 1,
That's right.
2. And now we're in the created world and we're trying to work backwards to unity.
We've got to go from here up to there, get what you do with your altar, and then once you get up there and you start getting your auric stuff and you've got that hard link and you're getting your links like you have, and then all of a sudden we invert the altar and then you're bringing that energy back down. Once you've got it going both ways, that's when you have your full telepathy and auric vision. That's the thing we can do with the tree, and we can break it down. It's hard to describe the top level of the tree now. I mean, we've got 6 more intelligence to go through without confusing this issue.
I've got one more question.
Go ahead.
When I came to you and started working with you, or any of these people on the blog, Was the creation of my elemental another Malkuth? Or did I start because I've been studying for a long time?
Much, okay,
Did I
okay, no,
start
no,
with
we can do it,
different
we can do it like that. We can do it like that. Here you are. See, I want to achieve this, okay? You tried 50 years of pursuing this, that, and the other thing. You run here, there, and everywhere, and then we decided to hook up, and you wanted to try it this way. So in the process of trying this way, we went through both an active and passive aspect in the creation of the elemental. The elemental, in turn, came here first. If you follow this line up here at 15, of course, that's the devil card, if you're using the card, but it's also the will to do what you will. And once it hits Tiphareth up above there, it's 3. Once it goes through balance, see, it becomes Gimel. It becomes the Empress. But that comes from here. So basically, if you use it that way, that creation is the elemental, or as Terry said in the first thing, that recognition of higher self, if you want that. You still got higher self down here before you can go up. So whether it's something you created in your own head, whether you're using a whether you're using a Catholic priest, a preacher, sadhu, or any kind of teacher, Babaji, or anything like that, that all starts here. That's the desire for it. You're going nowhere without this.
I had that.
You need the Trinity first. See, so
I had desire before I met you.
Sure, you know, and it didn't work.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Well, partially.
Didn't work. So, and most people have tried many different ways. We're not saying this is the only way. All the ways work. This is the way we do it. This is the way I teach it. All roads lead to God. Somehow it's all one. That concept, this is where people really have problems. Everybody wants it all to be good. Everybody wants this. Peace. Good. Peace. You know, everybody wants that. It's not like that. I can't say often enough. The easiest representation, you know, Hitler and Gandhi lived at the same time. I mean, boy, everybody wants to be Gandhi. Nobody wants to be Hitler. But they're both part of the whole.
Does that mean I have to be Hitler and Gandhi?
No, it doesn't mean you have to be either one. You have to be you. But you have to realize the other one's there. You have to realize it's all there. You're not going to become one. You're not going to achieve universal consciousness. You're not going to create it in yourself if you try to tell it what it's supposed to be. You know, if it's going to be Jesus Christ, then it has to be Satan too. That's the dichotomy of Christianity. They had to create an equivalent evil to create the desire to find
balance. God.
Okay? So no matter how you do it, that's what I'm saying. You go from here to there, create the desire, and then follow that path. Okay. Very, very much open to questions. This is definitely going to have to get broken into 2 pieces. We're up to 14 minutes. So this is going to be 2 7-minute videos here. So there'll actually be 3 parts to this. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll move on. I really, really appreciate starting to get these questions and this interest, and I'm hoping this works better than just doing the blog, where I can explain a little better. Thank you very much. Remember, go to meeting links anytime you need them, folks. I'm on your side. Bye-bye.